for notes.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm recording. Cool.
Hunter. So does that make him? Would he build it from hunter career, or
that's what I was looking at?
Use bounty hunter from Star Wars?
Well, I mean, let me take a look at the hunter career. Is that one in?
If I can find that one.
Terrinoth,
it's in the Genesys PDF.
It's in Genesys.
It's in the Genesys PDF.
Because there's also the scout in Terrinoth, but
right. So hunter has athletics, brawl, coordination, perception, ranged, stealth, survival, and vigilance, and we could switch survival for streetwise, right?
Well, here's the thing. Actually, I'm going to. I believe I have to double check. Where did I see it? It was in the Genesys one. I believe I get to take either streetwise or survival.
Yeah, because streetwise is
because I'm an orc.
Survival of urban.
I've got to
Yeah.
streetwise, by the way, just in case that influences your decision. Not that you shouldn't take it, but just so you know, that's definitely...
Well, the thing is, I think what I'm saying is, like, I get survival because I'm a hunter, but I think because I'm an orc, I can take either survival or streetwise, so I would take streetwise. So I'm going to end up with both of them. So I might not power up streetwise so much because you'll have it, but I will have it, I think, either way.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. So that actually might
in with one rank in coercion.
But Jose, what were you saying though? You said something kind of about the singing.
I said that I'm his bodyguard, so if I'm working with you, you gotta pay me too.
Well, yeah, like so, because you're playing a Warforged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It never hurts to have too much muscle.
So for Jose, I guess it's kind of the same question I had for Rory. Is that like, do we pull? There's soldier over here, and there's knight.
I was just gonna pick soldier from the.
But there's
Eberron.
also bodyguard in You already had it figured out. Okay.
Yeah, well, there's warrior in Terrinoth, and I think there's soldier in regular.
If you have a bodyguard one, though, he should at least look at that one because that's interesting.
Well,
where did you say you found bodyguard?
Bodyguard in Edge of the Empire.
Okay, you mind if I look
right.
at that? I might as well because
I love
good towns and stuff.
I would think you should. That one might fit perfectly. Because that makes sense. Edge of the Empire bodyguard kind of actually would probably fit really well in this, from what I'm hearing.
It's under the hired guns specialization, page 75 in the Edge book.
Yeah, the only thing to keep in mind is that there are no specializations in core Genesys, right? It's just career.
Right.
So that's the only thing you'll want to take into consideration. I would sort of look at the base, because I think the base class gives you 4 ranks in a thing, and then in skills.
And then 2 more in the specialization, right?
Right, but there is no specialization in Genesys. So I think I started with a human anyway. I think I started out with 4 ranks in any skills because of being a human.
Yeah. But, I mean, Right.
The orcs have a house, right? I'm sorry, I'm looking through this, and I can't. The problem is I don't know the houses' names. I guess I have to go back up to orc.
I think it's Tharashk, maybe. Eberron.
I'll let you look that up, and I'll keep looking at this thing for.
Yeah, I'll scroll up.
Sometimes
Tarask.
Yeah, no, Tharashk, Tharashk, is a human and half-orc dragon-marked house.
Oh, yeah.
And they're renowned for bounty hunters, inquisitives,
Oh, wait, maybe it was half orcs that I was looking at and not regular orc. I thought I was reading. All right, let me. Too much. Taking in too much. One of them I thought I read had like they were all about being hunters, trackers.
Yeah, that's Tharashk, I believe. There's also, I think.
Oh no, I mean the race. Thought I was reading. I didn't think I even got into the houses yet.
Oh, the race, yeah.
I thought there was a race that.
The orc, yeah.
But they don't seem to get anything for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was half orc.
Yep.
It was half orc. Yeah, definitely. Because they get these. They start with the outdoorsman talent or expert tracker talent, and they get one rank in either survival or streetwise. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Question. Are we using melee heavy and light, or are we just using melee?
I would use in Terrinoth they split it, right, between heavy and light.
Yeah.
I would probably do that.
In the Eberron one, it does too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, yeah, I would do that. I was just looking at warrior and comparing it to. So, knight has athletics, discipline, leadership, both melees, resilience, riding, and vigilance. And then soldier has athletics, brawl, coercion, both melees, perception, resilience, and vigilance. Let's see. That's almost a match for warrior, so I wouldn't bother, I think, even looking at warrior.
I would recommend
Want it for starting gear.
Default to Realms of Terrinoth. If you have questions, that's what I would say. Unless Chris, unless you think differently, because that's the one you should be going to for fantasy, and then you sort of, pop the
right,
the Eberron thing sort of like on top of that, because I think it's built on both of those.
Yeah. So, I mean, but looking at the Eberron, Genesys Eberron, the soldier and the warrior in Realms of Terrinoth are almost the same.
Yeah.
I don't know that riding is going to be very handy in the city, though. So, like, the warrior has riding, and so I would say putting in something else might make more sense, right? I mean, where are you guys going to ride in the city?
I mean,
are we only going to be in the city?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a good question. Like, campaign-wise, if we're talking about a campaign, like, and talking about maybe doing it like a West Marches, and maybe I'm not the only one running, where, are other people already inspired to run in places other than the city? In which case, then you might want to have riding, right?
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Okay. So then, yeah, you probably want to hang on to stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say personally, hold on to it. I mean, I think it actually adds to backstories. Like, if you're taking a pure ranger and you have, I actually don't have it right here next to me, but whatever. If you're taking something that's like animal handling, then maybe you moved from the country to the city. But if you get rid of it altogether, then it's like everybody's an automatic city dweller forever.
That's true, and everybody's kind of super generic, which isn't as interesting. So yeah, I mean, that's up to you, Jose. Like, I think any of those would work for what you have in mind. I think it just depends on what you want your emphasis, where you want your emphasis to be, right? Warrior is all brawl, no athletics.
Yeah, then I'm just gonna go with soldier.
I think you should make a caster. It'd be crazy, Jose.
I don't know.
He likes to beat things up, and
No.
tank it out.
Lies.
Fake news.
I don't mind magic. Just I don't really want to use it.
I'm starting to get really frustrated. The Google
I don't
Drive,
mind magic. I just hope somebody else uses it. That's what I heard you say.
Yeah, very much.
which is my thing. I like magic.
Well, yeah, Chris, you will definitely want to create a character at some point.
Yes. Like I'm dying to play in this setting too.
Yeah. It's super, super fun.
Super
Okay,
cool.
so that's that.
Where are the
So Sam, what class did you say you're going with? What career?
So I actually went with Scoundrel. I feel like that one kind of fit the Inquisitive the best. I was thinking Envoy, but I think my concept as sort of a seedy, hard-boiled detective kind of makes Scoundrel make more sense.
And Rory, you did what to kind of counter to work with that?
I'm going to be essentially his hunter. Hunter is the technical class, but I'm like an urban hunter.
Got it. And then we got soldier, and then we got Corey. What did you say you're looking at?
I'm
Changeling.
That's
yeah,
great.
maybe a change. And I'm going to have the dragon mark of past. But I think I'm either because I like the way some of these things are in the Eberron PDF. But I'm not sure how to implement that, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't give you some of the things, you know what I mean?
So I think I'm looking at the same thing. You're talking about the careers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it only lists the
Skills.
career skills, and it doesn't list what you get with it or anything.
So I think how that works is if I look at the careers in the Realms book, it gives you the same thing, the skills, but then it just says starting gear. It says you can use this starting gear instead of purchasing it on your own. So I'm assuming there's a amount of money you start with.
Yeah, I think it's the same 500 credits.
Yeah,
right.
500 gold or silver.
And silver coins.
Yeah, so I would just say, in essence, you could take the career from Eberron, just buy your own stuff, and then it seems like there's no skill specialization like there is in Star Wars. Is everybody getting that? Is that
Right.
Right. You kind of just like mix and match your own.
Mm-hmm.
And talent seem to replace that.
Specialization.
Skill tree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Specialization skill
It's
tree.
a talent pyramid instead.
It's kind of like Skyrim. Like whatever you do, you could do. There's no structure to your classes.
Exactly.
Right.
So it gives you a lot of freedom. And then what I would say is dig into the realms of Terrinoth to see what might, find something that's similar and just feel free to like pull starting equipment from that. So that you don't have to.
See, now that I'm looking at this, I mean, when you look at talents,
Yeah.
Tier 1 talents cost 5 XP, Tier 2 talents cost 10 XP, Tier 3 talents cost 15, Tier 4 are 20, and Tier 5 are 25.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at, like there's a whole bunch of, and that was looking at the original core book.
And do marks, Corey, do you know if marks, is it like the least matches the lowest, like least are 5?
Yeah, marks, I just saw that up here too. I just saw that just a second ago. Where did that go? Just a second ago. Hold on, let me scroll back to it. The marks said that is under talents in here. The Dragon Marks see entries. Least is Tier 1, lesser is Tier 2, greater is Tier 3, and Sibiri, or however you say that word? Sibiri. Tier 5. So there's not anything for Tier 4 in the Dragon Mark. So.
Oh, right, there's only 4. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because there's only 4, which makes sense. And the other thing is, there's a few things that I'm seeing here that I really like. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to make a socialite.
Yep. Sweet.
Okay.
Socialite, nice. And I'm sorry, which mark did you say you were thinking?
I'm going to use the mark of passage. I want to be a
Passage.
teleporter.
Okay. Got it.
I'm going to be a teleporter.
Cool.
Because
Cool.
yeah, it says you can make a marker. I mean, a mount or whatever. But like she said, and it would be great if we end up going somewhere. You know what I mean? But yeah, like the first one, I can teleport with me and anything I'm touching within medium range, and then it goes on from there. And like if you get to some of the crazy ones, it's like I can if you get to which one was that? If you get to the Cerberus, I can teleport myself and any objects I'm touching, so as long as they don't exceed my encumbrance, to any known location or visualized by the air.
Wow.
So I can just go, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, you have to know the location, but I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
but if I've been there before, I could
Yep.
just be like, oh shit button.
That's really cool.
exactly. It's your teleport scroll right there.
Sam, Jose,
Yo.
it's like Sombra
Yes.
when she puts her thing down and then she goes whoop. She
Yep.
just teleports back to it.
Goodbye.
Uh-huh. Peace.
Okay, so Sam, you're doing what race again?
Human. It's the
Human,
average human. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're an inquisitor.
Yeah. Well, technically an inquisitive. Yep.
Inquisitive. Oops.
Only because Inquisitor kind of has a context that is super scary, and I believe they have those in Eberron. They are nasty. They're pieces of work.
Let's see.
Are we using? I'm sorry. Is the character sheet in Roll20 the right one for Eberron, or do we need to?
God, I
Do I
hope
need
so.
to change anything?
They don't.
Okay.
They don't have an Eberron specific one in Roll20.
Okay.
The nice thing that I see in here is if you're looking at skills and so on and so forth, you can create your own skills.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So,
for like
I just-
talents
yeah.
and powers, you can do the same. Yeah.
Right.
I just want to make sure if we delete any or change the name of any or decide not to use it, that we all do it to get. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I have all the same skills on my list that you guys have on yours.
Yeah. It uses
I
all
know
the
some
basic
of them
stuff.
are a little different. Like gnomes can make extra knowledge, like they can make any knowledge type check into.
Yeah, and that's
Oh, cool.
But
skill.
isn't there a skill that's just knowledge in the sheet? Maybe there is,
Yes.
but yeah.
but mine I have a skill called linguist. All knowledge bracketed language skill checks are career skills.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, that's it.
I'll have to make
Yeah, knowledge and
one that does that, knowledge language, and then it's
So it's cheaper. It's cheaper for you to upgrade that now because it's a career skill. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
exactly. So it's
I think gnomes start with something like that as a race. I believe it's something
I
like
saw
that.
Where was that?
It was interesting. I thought about playing a little.
Gnomes are so
Gnome
freaking
appraiser.
cool in this setting. They are so cool.
Oh, they're way.
I am
cool.
a fan of gnomes. People
I am
always
too.
in
I love
5e.
small folk. I
I
love
was
this. Great.
if I wasn't playing, I was actually thinking about playing a gnome inquisitive, to be honest. But I have this very specific concept, so I have to play a human. But like,
I was gonna play a gnome gem appraiser,
yeah,
jewelry appraiser. That's what I was gonna play, but then I landed on this instead because I do like urban bounty hunters, like them very much.
oh yeah.
Very much.
That's the cool thing about Sharn too, is like you could spend an entire campaign just in the city of Sharn, or and the way Eberron works, they have like teleport stones, so like you can teleport all over the place,
ooh.
and like I mean it's costly, but if you have a patron or you have somebody that will pay for those costs, like so you could go and Sharn can be your base of operations. So it's
absolutely, and that is something that. I know you played a few games with Matt when it first started, but it we really got into in season 2. We really got into kind of going to a couple different places, and the fun thing is that he made us ride to it before we could, so we can make a whole bunch of encounters. Before we got to the city, but when we got to the city, we learned how to use the teleports.
Waystones or something. I can't remember what they're called, but
I think he called them Waystones or something. Yeah, something like that. They're teleportation suits.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Anthony,
it's really cool. I love it, dude.
You need-
It's like,
Me too.
help with anything or?
I think I know what I'm gonna do. I think.
Yeah.
So now you asked what everybody's doing. So what are you doing, brother?
Well, I kind of wanted to make sure I knew what everybody's doing first. So I think I'm gonna go with Zadagast Wise, an old warlock trying to make myself at home in these parts. So I want to be an old ass human, I want to kind of make like a warlock kind of character that uses demons and stuff like that.
So basically,
Yeah.
you sound like an old guy that needs to take a shit.
I've been alive for so long because my soul is indebted to a demon.
And I'm
Nice.
really backed up, and I just wish I could take a shit.
I think.
Soul is indebted to a.
The kidney stones are worse torture.
Oh man.
Those
That's
demons
hilarious.
were supposed to
Bone
keep you
size of a
young.
baseball yesterday.
I made the contract when
Well,
I
they
was
did.
92.
Yeah.
I haven't
He's
aged
just very old.
It's so old that even the demon can't hide it for him anymore.
I'll tell you, if demons wanted to make a deal, that would be a great time to get to any of us. Be like, hey, listen, you're dying tomorrow, but you can make this deal. Like, man, I wish it would have come to me like 60 years ago. Yeah, they all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm loving
I'm-
how.
I'm trying. So I'm thinking. Let's see. So the way I was looking at it was in Eberron, the wizard. I assume it would be.
Yep.
For those skills. And then I just need to learn how the hell I'm kind of doing this because I want to learn how the hell magic works in Genesis.
Yeah,
Because I feel like
It
I
is
have
so
no idea,
fun.
and it's a little intimidating. So I'm gonna force myself.
Yeah.
Right.
It's cool. It's I think it's one of those things once you've mastered it, it'll be quick and easy to kind of explain what you're doing. I'll be curious to see how we can get beyond the sort of mechanical speak of it, because you have to build your magic in a way, right? Like you say, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to add this effect, which adds a difficulty, and then I'm going to do this thing, which adds another difficulty. So but if you sort of, I think if we get to a point where we can understand by your description, okay, he's adding the blast quality and he's adding range, then we'll be able to, as a GM, say, okay, great, yep, so that's 4 difficulty, go.
Now, let me ask you, because I'm unsure. It seems like the only place I find the magic is actually in the Genesis core book. Because like in Realms, I don't see any spells and stuff listed. Like in the core book, it has like types of spells and it has all the spells. But
In
Realms,
Genesis adds a couple of things. It adds I think it adds rune magic.
Yep.
yeah, the Realms
And
adds.
the Primalist.
Yeah, and Primalist. But like you're right, the way magic works is laid out in the core book.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's like rune magic and then shard magic or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think I'm just going to use the magic in the core book. Because I don't want to use shards or weird stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably the easiest anyway. It's most straightforward.
Runes are dope.
Yup.
The runes are going to be cool. We just, I haven't really read that part yet.
There's
I was
a
like,
theory
oh,
that I read that although it uses runes, I would still call it pretty low magic, but I highly recommend it. The British name, which is the original name it came out under, is called the Warded Man, and the American version is called the Painted Man, I believe.
Cool.
But definitely worth checking out. All the magic is wards, and which are runes, basically.
Nice. 70.
Oh, I see. Yeah, these runes in this book, I see now they have like activation and implementation type.
So I had a question.
Yeah.
Because I can't wear armor, but I have a talent called Component Enhancements. That's for enhancement in items. How does that work?
I can barely hear you.
Yeah, you're really quiet.
a talent called
One second, I'll put it in the chat.
which book are you referencing the talent from?
It's from Genesis. It's part of the Warforged race.
Oh, the Eberron.
Yeah,
the
right.
Eberron one.
Yeah. It's just wait. From the talent list?
No, it's part of the race.
Yeah, specifically under the race. Basically, what it's saying is you can't wear armor, but what you can do is you can, I think, upgrade your chassis, so to speak, to be able to have things like adamantine armor, or like in Eberron, Warforged are frequently seen with, like, instead of a hand, they will have like a blade or an axe or something like.
It's because you have natural armor.
Yeah.
You don't need armor.
No,
You
just-
are armored. You're like an armored tank, man.
No, I know that. I just want to know how I go about upgrading because my defense at the moment is 1. So
Well, there's that talent, the adamantine plating, for starters.
yeah, I grabbed those already.
And it
Yeah.
says he's all set for a certain amount of
There's
like
Mithril plating
slots.
too.
I just want to know for later on, so that way, when we battle, I don't get,
Yeah, I mean, so defense, like, probably most of us aren't even going to have defense unless we have a natural ability or a special kind of armor. Soak is typically the one we're going to deal with. But yeah, so Jose, if you already have one in probably melee defense, it's probably related just to your natural armor and maybe the ability to have like a weapon or something as an appendage. But like I would honestly, I think what that's referring to is the fact that you can upgrade yourself. So like where we would be able to buy armor, you can't do that, but you have a certain amount of, I think, upgrades or something that would essentially allow you to do those things like take armor or take the upgraded version, the adamantine plate or whatever it is. I think that's what that meant.
I'm just noticing.
Because it's confusing. Plus, if I want to upgrade my armor later on, I don't know how much it's going to cost me or what to do exactly.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
If
I
I
mean-
can understand it correctly, I think that basically he probably has to pay the amount that the armor that gives the defense bonus that he wants or soak bonus that he wants costs for a regular character. I think he has to have the slots available, which right now you have a bunch of them, and then you have to pay basically that amount. And then really it's more of just a narrative thing. You're not a robot wearing a leather tunic. You're a robot who has like an extra layering of X metal, which is essentially just gives you, that's how I read it when I was reading through that. I was kind of interested in the robot class thing, but that's how I
That
took
would
it.
make sense. I'm noticing that the mithril plating talent also, it imposes 2 setback to attacks against you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he definitely, those upgrades, I think, they have to be the way for him to do the normal kind of
Yeah.
upgrading of armor. I think that has to be the standard way, because talents have to be the step up. That would be like if he's a robot, that's really hard to hit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You also you get to ignore critical injuries, right? I think. 1?
No,
Oh, no, wait, that's dwarves.
automatical critical for exceeding.
Power down.
That's what it is.
I think I just shut down.
Yeah. And it says like you only take it if you take more damage after that. I was imagining like, so that's like if the robot goes down and somebody sits there and just continues to like try to hack your robot limbs off.
Yep. The smart thing, right? When they go down, you hit them with you keep hitting them to make sure they don't get back up.
Is there more on the Warforged somewhere in this document? Because
I didn't notice anything about soak on any of the races.
yeah, I mean,
Your-
there's
Your
it's
soak
Warforged.
your soak is based on your brawn. So soak
It-
I hate
it's
soak right now.
yeah, so your soak is brawn, is your brawn rating, I think, and then you can add to it with armor.
right, which would explain why it's not there yet, because you'd have to buy your armor. Which will have to
Brawn
come out
rating?
of the...
Right. Yeah. So if you have
I
two
have
in
3
brawn,
brawn,
okay. So you
but
should,
it only set my soak at 1.
No, you have to change it.
Right, but you're
Yeah,
going to buy
so-
armor or something too.
your soak should
Oh,
be.
okay,
So if
I
you
have to
3
manually change-
brawn,
okay.
Yeah, you should have 3.
Okay.
Just like in D&D
Okay.
where you don't have the best
Okay.
AC until you also buy
Okay.
your armor, right?
Okay. Oh, yeah, I guess that's right. Wounds and strain didn't automatically update either. I had to do that. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense.
Add
Okay,
your...
so I have a question on, because anytime I've ever made a character in FFG, there's been a Star Wars character, and I've used Zoog Dudes, it does it all for you. So when you have something as a career skill, what does that afford you exactly?
I think it costs 5 into 10 experience, right?
Yeah, it costs you 5 per rank instead of 10 per rank. Corey, I'll send you a link here to an online character generator.
Yeah, but I
will
can't
help
really
with that.
do it, kind of. I mean, I looked at it and it was. I've already looked at that thing and it just
Oh, okay.
because we're doing Eberron things. It's
Right.
not-
We don't
Yeah, I
have
can't
as much
pick-
help.
I can't choose archetype. I can't choose all that stuff. But I guess I could. Can I do it under custom data? Maybe.
Well, I mean, what did you? So you were choosing like a career that was not listed in the because because you have a shifter for archetype.
No, I have changeling as archetype.
Changeling for archetype. Okay.
But it's just 2s across the board.
Yeah, and then which is fine. So you could just choose like in the archetype, you could probably just choose like I don't know.
Which one is 2s across the board? I guess
choose whatever you want. Average human is 2s across the board.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, and then your career will be the big thing. But yeah, so career skill means that your first rank would cost you 5 XP, and then your second rank would cost you 10 XP, right, and so on.
Right.
Where if it's a non-career skill, you'll start out at 10, and then you basically add 5 XP to the normal cost each time.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I gotcha. Now we're cooking with gas.
Oh, wow. I thought I was looking up something else before we got off on all of those tangents, and now I don't remember what I was looking up. I thought there was some stuff about magic in Terrinoth, I think is what it was, because I have the magic open.
What is the prepare weapon quality? Does that mean you have to take a turn or take a maneuver to do
Oh,
something?
there we go.
Let's see, where is that?
So I can do that.
Magic skills, page 115 of Realms of Terrinoth. Oh, I guess it's not that much information.
By the way, I think these skills, they're close, but I think there's a few that they don't have. I mean, sorry, a few that are extra.
But they seem to from the PDF, they just seem to be kind of added on, and then you just add that one at the bottom. That's what I did with language. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, so I think the ones that we'll have to add, so far that I can tell, are Primal and Scion. Maybe Operating. Oh, no, that's in there. Scion and Primal.
Primal should be
And,
in there.
oh, is it? I didn't see
It
Scion,
should
but
be,
maybe
because it's in
Primal.
Terrinoth.
I don't see Primal in here.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it is.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It is. It's here. It's here. Is Scion, and I just missed it?
I think Scion probably is not, but
Do you have rank in that?
probably not.
Okay, so that's one that we'll have to put in, and then otherwise I think it's just a few that are in here that are extra, like astrocartography, computers, maybe 1 or 2 other things.
Yeah, and those are just things that we just won't use them. So
We just won't use them, yeah, so it's not an issue.
So, Anthony, on page 115 of Terrinoth, there's a table for the magic that might be useful. That tells you.
Yeah, I see that. The attack, and it shows you the skill. Is that the skills up top?
Yeah. So if you're using wizard, it's Arcana, which makes sense anyway.
Yeah.
Because a warlock would be that.
Okay.
And then it tells you which ones you can't do. So there's no augment and no heal, but you can do everything else.
Sweet.
And then I thought there was another chart on magic too. Maybe that is in the other book.
Yeah, I found there's a lot of stuff in the core book that helps set this up. This seems like
Wait,
About the
Where was the
book,
core
it's
book
frustrating. You get to magical skills, but then they don't list the rest of it there. You got to go to some other page to get the.
Yeah, so what they're doing is,
Drives me nuts.
I see what Genesys is doing. They're making it so you need this to have the rules of how things work mechanically, and then the flavors being added in the source book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
which makes sense for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I guess. I found a
Makes it a little.
Google Doc that is a creature catalog that converts everything to Genesys.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, let me share that in Zoom because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, well, I want to summon a demon. Well, where the hell's the demon stats, you know?
They're in Terrinoth.
Well, they didn't have any demons. They had like weird monsters. They're not demons though. They're like weird snake-looking things, and unless I missed it.
Yeah, they have demons. In where is it? Let me find it.
I do kind of wish.
Because it mentions it. It mentions like some type of magic that summons them, but then it doesn't have any actual like. When you look at the NPCs, they're all
Yep.
things that exist on this plane, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. I know. Okay, so in I think it's where is it in the Rue Steps in Terrinoth page starts on page where is it 2 I think 08 and 209 and then I think there's a few actual stats starting on 213. There's not a ton. So yeah, so that's probably a good document to have, Anthony, the one that you mentioned, because I think that'll be helpful, especially if you're sort of referencing like a.
Because yeah, the thing too is these are obviously not the interesting thing about doing this is right. We're using Dungeons and Dragons monsters, right?
Yeah.
But the source is from Terrinoth. While we can use them and reskin it.
Yeah, they're not built for Eberron.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. This is a neat document.
Yeah, so this has a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should look at this.
I gotta get those Eberron.
Wait,
All right, I gotta get the Terrinoth.
I'm trying to find a
D&D
D&D specific conversion.
Where'd you post it at?
In the Zoom.
the Zoom chat.
Yeah. It's apparently a community.
Maybe I am.
What? Oh,
In
Anthony,
Zoom?
did you share it to me privately?
Oh, I might have. Whoops.
Here, I'll send it.
Ah, there we go.
Yep. Because I think I sent you a link privately for possible deities
Yeah.
or something
I
that
didn't
you
even know
could.
did it. Oh, cool. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah, that's nifty.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. We're pulling from so many things. Like, it'd be great if the source book for Genesys, which is new, right? And it's just something somebody made, right? So can't really fault it. But
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's
it'd be
like,
great if it was a little more.
yeah, there's only so much they can do legally.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because they were using a 5e or I guess a D&D setting, and trying to port it over to Eberron to Genesis when I don't even know if Realms of Terrinoth was officially out yet.
Yeah.
Right. Probably not. Right. Because.
So let me do.
Rory, I shared the core book, I believe.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, actually.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's hard to do this kind of like by hand, the making your character sheet, because I've always used Og dudes.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit.
Yeah, but it's kind of
It's
fun
actually-
at the same time. You know what I mean? It's
I'm gonna
like-
try. Yeah, I'm gonna do it by hand. See how.
Yeah. Well, it's good because you can't rely on the shortcuts. You kind of have to like find out where things are and
Right. I'm doing the same thing. I'm also
Kind of helps you get to know the material.
Yeah.
That's actually why I insist on doing pen and paper almost all the time, because then when I'm stuck in that situation, I don't feel, because that's how I started D&D, was only using character creators. And then one day somebody was like, "Oh, you want to play?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Here, make a character." I was like, "Oh,
I don't know how to do this.
I don't actually know the rules to that. I just plug the information in and select things out of drop downs. What do you mean?"
It's funny because I've pretty much only done pen and paper, so it's kind of a new thing to me to use this stuff.
Yeah. Now, I mean, on the flip side of that, I will say you're hamstringing yourself. Like we both are by doing that, because other people can move so much faster using those tools, and they're just like think, and they're done.
So at least with the one thing that was interesting about like running this at AtCon was it forced me. I had to make character sheets, and I had to do them manually. Literally, because I don't even have a working printer. I still have not replaced my printer, and I don't use a printer enough, so I just haven't been in a hurry to like run out and buy a new printer, even though they're cheap, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to do them by hand, and then they were the ones that it just really just shows your rank on the sheet if you're doing it with pen and paper, right? It doesn't break down. Oh, it's 1 green and 2 yellow or whatever for you. So then you have to learn how to read that, and so that was a really good.
That's hard when it says 2 in your rank, in your skill, and it's based on perception, and you have a 3 perception or cunning or whatever, right? And then you're like, oh, so yeah, that's how the adversary cards are, and it's a pain in the ass because then you have to convert it. And you're like,
yeah.
Roll 20. That's why also if you have the pro level of Roll 20, you can use it on a tablet. So you as the GM could just have it all in there.
It's a reason to get a tablet.
Yeah, you should have a good tablet, but because it can bog down, and the map is hard if trying to use that on a tablet because they're small. But yeah, it's nifty.
So I'm loving how so thinking about this actually and literally what you guys have set up so far. So I don't know if you guys remember me saying, but like one of the encounters I was interested in running from the encounters book specifically suggested the players have a home base.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily that they had to live together, but that they had a place where they congregated on a regular basis and had some of their belongings there. And we just have like 3 of you that are probably working together from an office. Like you probably have some sort of a location where you operate your private eye business from, and so it's perfect. It's like a natural home base for the group.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
And it solved how at least 3 of you know each other. Thanks for making that so easy for me.
So I'm pretty much done. I just had to buy equipment now. So far, I just bought my axe.
Yeah, I pretty much am too. I'll probably get more equipment later, but I almost feel like what's the point of buying equipment other than weapons? Because you can just use story points for them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think D&D, as D&D players, those of us who play that the most kind of just feel compelled to buy more stuff. But like every time I find myself saying that, yeah, I don't need to buy that. I don't need to buy that. Nope, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Even looking at some of the things they give you in like Terrinoth, you know, with your character, it's like, why? Like, it's like they're just satisfying that need for people to feel like they have that stuff, as opposed to, I don't even feel like you need to spend a story point on some of it. I mean, obviously you'd have things you need for day-to-day living. You'd have clothes and, you know, if you live in a city, you have somewhere to live.
Yeah.
You know, so, which I guess that's one of the things that needs to be figured out.
So it's 30 to upgrade a characteristic, right?
It's 10. I think it's
From
10
two to
times the rank that you're jumping up to. So if you go from 2 to 3, yes, it would cost 30 XP. If you go from 3 to 4, it would cost 40 XP.
Right.
Dang.
So, now Sam, didn't you have a suggestion for like where in Sharn you thought everybody that you guys should live or be from or whatever?
Not necessarily. I was actually thinking, now that we're kind of all sort of based around this kind of like clandestine sort of group, I wonder if it would make sense to be associated, and Chris, you could obviously veto this, but be associated with the Dark Lanterns, which are basically the spy and assassin service for the King of Breland. Yeah, they serve the Crown of Breland as spies and assassins. Collectively, they form the intelligence division of the King's Citadel, a much larger organization is sworn to defend Breland from its enemies. And Sharn is the biggest city in Breland. It's not the capital, but it is the big city. So that might be something to consider. But the other thing we could consider too is, I mean, there's so many different factions, but like, we could also work for, I think is it the Library of Korenberg or Morgrave University?
I just want to be sure I didn't miss anything.
Cool.
I know that it would be me and you and Jose's character as the bodyguard. Were Corey's and Anthony's character already associated with us and I missed it? Or
no, we haven't decided
We haven't-
yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let me just take a look. I mean, the easiest thing to do is have everybody as part of the Wayfinder Foundation, because they're like the sort of the travel, and you know, that's where you sort of the plug and play version. If you need a faction to be associated with in Eberron, so that's not a bad way to do it.
I mean, I feel like mine and your business idea here. I don't know. I kind of imagine myself kind of settled in and knowing the area pretty well, and not really like a fly by night
totally.
kind of person.
Yeah, Morgrave University would be the other one if we wanted to do something along the lines of like an Indiana Jones type thing. Let me pull up
That's interesting.
the 5e docs so I can look at the Sharn stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Because I was thinking that we would be kind of in like the operating sort of not in like the lowest and seediest levels of Sharn, but probably like the lower levels where let's see. So starting points 147. All right, let's go there.
Yeah, I kind of was picturing it as regardless of whether we worked for the upper people or the lower people, you need to be somewhere towards the bottom in order to get the information.
So
Yeah.
I had a weird idea if you guys are cool with it.
Yeah, shoot.
So I imagine we're kind of broke. So I figure with this 500 gold, since I'm really only buying my axe, I can spend 200 to buy a wagon, and I can just pull it myself.
Okay. Like, what would be the wagon? What would the wagon be for all the bodies that we're we're gonna be?
I just said if we need to go places, and you know, there's
Oh.
multiple people coming with us.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly can. I will say that travel does not tend to be a problem in Eberron.
Yeah. Not at
Yeah,
all.
we're gonna have a shapeshifter that can teleport someday.
Well, that can teleport.
Well, I feel like, I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
likened to the Sharn is compared to, like, it's a fantasy version in New York City. So, like,
Right.
I feel like people would walk a lot because it'd be crowded, and you've got all the sky bridges and stuff like that. But like,
Yep. Well, and there's also like those like little skiffs or whatever that can take you, up to the higher
Right.
levels of the city and all that. So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's the light rail. There's a
Yeah.
lot. Getting around isn't a problem. And I'm not trying to shoot down what you're trying to do there, Jose. But
Yeah,
hey,
we
if
just
you
want to
got a
make sure
wagon,
you're spending your
goddamn
gold.
wagon.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get something else. I'm gonna get a lantern. And I'm gonna get a cloak to cover my big ass.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing because Warforged aren't something that people see every day.
Well, they probably would be in Sharn, to be honest, but
yeah,
like
because they're
there's-
like,
it's kind of like in Star Wars, especially in the Outer Rim. There's a lot of hatred and distrust of droids because of the Clone Wars, right? And so it's kind of similar in this setting with Warforged. Some people love Warforged and are like, hey, we fought with the Warforged, like they saved our lives. They're people too. And then there's the people that are like, no way, they were built to destroy us, and they did a good job of that.
Right. And and that's
So yeah, you
I
can.
don't know, that's kind of the feel that Matt had, is that they were
Mhm.
kind of
Is herb
fun.
of healing like a potion for him?
Herbal healing. I mean, it's the same. It's just more natural healing.
Yeah, but it's not gonna work for you because you're not
right.
natural.
He can only heal by, what is it, augment, and it said on his,
I think that maybe we.
so,
Let's see.
may only be healed by augment spells. Healing spells and medicine skill restore one less wound and increase difficulty by 1. Which, yeah. But they have to be augment.
So I feel like maybe we live in the middle city.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, because, like you said, you have to be low enough to have access to the, to have reasonable access to the lower levels.
Yeah.
For information and stuff, but if you're way down there, then the rich people aren't gonna probably hire you. So.
Plus, it says in the Wayfinders guide on page 134 for Middle Central, it says a center for intrigue and espionage. The district of Ambassador Towers includes embassies and consulates from the Thronehold nations, along with the Aranel and Sarlona Ambassador Towers. Is also home to the King's Citadel, headquarters of Brelish Intelligence.
Yeah, totally
across
makes sense.
across the ward, the district of Dragon Towers holds the primary enclaves of the dragon-marked houses. Rounding things out, the district of Sovereign Towers is home to Sharn's greatest monuments of faith, including the Pavilion of the Host, Sovereign Host, the Cathedral of the Cleansing Flame, the Silver Flame. While it's a middle ward, services are comfortable to wealthy in quality. So that's nice.
So to kind of shift gears ever so slightly, has everybody done their motivation and so on and so forth?
Yep, I did.
Yeah. Oh.
I have not. Actually, I have.
Go ahead.
I have a little bit of a rabbit hole. I realize I've been looking for these 2 talents that the half-orcs are supposed to be able to choose from, and I can't find them. I can't find them in the Eberron Adaption or the Core. I don't know if maybe they're in Terrinoth, but I don't have Terrinoth.
Which ones are they?
Outdoorsman talent or Expert Tracker talent.
All right, let's see. Expert tracker. Where is that? That's not in here. Outdoorsman.
Jeez,
I don't
where are
see either of those. So I wonder if those are. They're not. They don't list those in the Eberron book.
they? I don't think I see them. I'm gonna scroll again. I
So
thought I
much
went through the whole
scrolling,
site.
right?
I'm on my
let's
phone
see.
too on this one, so I have the computer up. I
Yeah.
have the other one up, so
They're
maybe I
not
missed it.
listed.
Yeah.
That's weird. Let's see if we can. Maybe we can find them online.
I was like, am I going crazy? Like, I've been looking the whole time for these two towns. I'm like, I
No,
don't think
I mean,
I'm crazy.
They're not listed because the Realms of Terrinoth lists all the talents for both Genesis and Realms of Terrinoth, and neither of those
Oh, okay.
are in there.
Yeah, that's
What did you say? It was
No, I'm not.
expert tracker?
expert tracker or outdoorsman are the two choices.
There's one with
I imagine
nature,
they'll be in the same.
but no. I wonder.
I wonder.
Tracker. No, there's no.
Could those be in Star Wars?
Possibly, but does it not reference it? I mean,
What are you talking about?
Well, because the other books didn't exist yet, maybe it doesn't.
right. Expert tracker or outdoorsman as a talent. Those are not talents in the Eberron book.
They might be. I don't know. I'm getting worried now
sorry,
that it didn't load all the pages. That's why I'm scrolling through slower this time.
All right.
I wonder if that would be in the Scout.
So
I might have maybe skipped a page.
All right. So in this, when during our motivation, we choose every one of those.
Yeah. You have like four, like
Desire.
like a strength, a flaw,
fear.
desire, and a fear. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I'm
That's in what
wondering
book?
if we should do the regrets.
What? Oh, regrets. Oh, yeah. Where was that from?
It's
Is
in
that
Wayfarer's
in
Guide.
Wayfarer's? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let's see. So Explorer. I'm wondering if it's in.
Alright. So let's do
Just I got a
Nope.
Warforged picture you're gonna love. I'll link it in the group chat.
Oh, sweet.
I'm not seeing those in Star Wars unless they're in something other than.
Regret is a D10 table. All right.
Okay,
Do
so
I not
let's-
have my dice here?
Outdoorsman. Genesis.
Oh shit, that's my start.
Oh, yeah, somebody specifically asked, where's it from?
Oh, interesting. Did they mention it?
Yes. Okay, character removes one setback per rank of outdoorsman from checks to move through terrain or manage terrain or environmental effects. Decrease overland travel times by 50%.
Can you is there a way to copy and paste that?
Yeah, I'm gonna try here. Let's
Oh
find
Jesus.
out.
So
Oh,
the regret I rolled is you made a promise to a child or a lover that you failed to keep.
Lovely.
Here's outdoorsman.
Jose, I saw that picture, and your dude absolutely has to have that fucking top hat.
That-
If I can find it, I'd be more than happy to get it.
That is
That's his flavor.
That's amazing.
Even if even if it's not a functional thing, he has to be wearing that monocle and that fucking top hat. That is the coolest thing ever.
So I have an idea actually. If you want to go with that, Jose, maybe we could say that like that was originally my top hat, and you now have it for some reason. Maybe like you were like, I like that. Maybe that was your first payment. You know, like like you saved my life, and I'm like, what do you want? And you're like, I like your hat. And I was like, come on. And you're like,
I
nope,
did
I
the
want-
word Drake was what I was gonna go with. Is that like pretty much since he's a warforged and he doesn't really know much about the world, and the only thing he really knows is money, so that's why he cares about his money.
Yeah. All right.
Anthony, check Messenger.
Who?
Checking now.
I'm not finding expert tracker, but I saw mention of it. What is expert
I mean, this is a
Talent.
Oh, yeah.
You're a socialite, right? Like a well-to-do person, Corey?
Absolutely.
I think I have an idea. How old is your person?
See, the thing is this. She's a, I mean, it's a changeling. You don't
She's
know.
my nursing home whore. She's
Oh,
my
fuck.
witness.
Yeah, because that worked out very well the last time I made a whore.
Well,
Yeah. Can we
I was running that campaign, and I had said PG-13. I don't know what Chris.
Can we keep things PG-13, please? Corey.
Hey, I didn't say it, Anthony. did.
Anthony. Don't feed the beast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, you know what I mean? Because the reason that I'm really excited about Changeling is that I can make myself into whatever I want. So,
I can't find
you know,
expert
the
tracker.
true form, as it talks about in, like, the D&D stuff, you know, all Changeling have a true form. And none of you, besides if Anthony and I have grouped up, have probably ever seen my true form, or maybe even will. You know what I mean? Because, you know, but yeah.
So there's
Age of Rebellion, maybe.
Corey, would we know that your character is a changeling? Like perhaps we know that because it's an advantage to the group, or would you have largely kept one single form?
Found it.
I think that it would be like this.
No, I didn't.
I think that is something that you. If Anthony and I do decide to, you know, maybe we'll both be, lone rangers per se. But if we do decide to group up, I think that Anthony's character probably would know that I'm a changeling and maybe even has seen my true form.
Maybe I was like your tutor, like your you know how if you're rich they have like an old tutor guy.
I absolutely love that answer. 1,000,000%. So yes, he probably has, but I would think, I don't know, it depends on how Chris wants to play this. I kind of like the idea that now that we've grouped into a group of 3 and a group of 2, and maybe
Rory, I found it.
And maybe Chris's character rolls, you know, makes her character, maybe she's aligned with us, you know, some way, and, you know, our two groups clearly work together. We're part of the same, whatever is the higher power of whatever we are, our employer or whatever. But it's kind of two groups that work together. I kind of like that. So you guys would probably always see the same form that I choose to walk around in. You know what I mean? But if I'm on a job, there's certainly going to be times where I will probably, you know, teleport to a place, change form, and then you don't know that it's me. You know what I mean? But, you know, obviously that would be something that would be fun to RP and figure out. Maybe one of you figures it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, you know, so, yeah, I kind of think in the beginning, I don't know, I kind of like the idea of 2 teams. You know what I mean? Ish. You know what I mean? Or 2, you know, the alignment like that. And then it'll make fun interactions between the 2, because you 3 will be tight, and then me and Anthony will be tight. And like I said, when Chris makes a character, maybe she's aligned with us as well. And then we have, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like the added level of complexity it kind of adds without making things actually complicated.
I really hope that's a fun statement, and because you sound condescending. No. Okay, cool.
No,
cool.
I mean, like, it makes the story a little bit more interesting that we're not just like, oh, you know, they met in a tavern. Here's these 5 people. You know what I mean?
So that'll be fun. You know what I mean? And then you 3 can kind of talk together what you know about each other, and Anthony, I could. You know what I mean? And it would be. But I love that idea, Anthony, of you being my my personal my tutor, like you said. You know, I'm your not apprentice, because you're not playing Star Wars, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I'm like you're
more of like, I would say like you know, what is this relationship? Like the relationship Alexander the Great had with Aristotle.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, very much so. and we both have our own talents, but we work together because we are pretty much I'm the one that can kind of move around real well, and you're the demon maker apparently, or whatever you're doing here. And it's yeah. You guys know the kind. I mean, we all kind of have our niche.
All in due time, child.
And so, Corey, perhaps like you're the one that can get us into like the embassy parties and like.
Absolutely, because my family would have everything to do that because I'm part of that house.
Yeah, and so like I think that would be a kind of a cool thing, right? Because if we're in the Central Plateau, we're kind of hanging out in like the middle part of the city, right? That's like I said, that's where all of the sort of consulates and embassies and stuff are, and also obviously headquarters for the Brellish intelligence. So I think.
Is anybody else dragon marked?
I believe I am going to have the mark of finding.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that one's cool. And
Chris, I don't know if you updated your notes, but I'm half orc. I made a mistake. I thought it was orc that I was looking at earlier, but it was half orc that I was looking at.
Cool. I wondered about that, but cool.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
Maybe I should be figuring out what I would be so that we have something to work with for. I had thought about doing a shifter.
Oh yeah, I like this.
Shifters are the shit. I mean, I just kind of had when I started looking at the book. I really wanted to make a changeling when we did that thing with Matt, but then Paul Quattrocchi put up his character in like 4 seconds. You know what I mean? So like, I was like, I can't buy that because he already did it.
Yeah, I hate that sometimes.
Yeah, Paul has a knack to do that, actually, kind of. I think he just has 70,000 characters.
Yeah.
Made and just gonna go here's this one.
I think he does too.
Chris, would you let Expert Tracker apply? So in an urban environment, I'm seeing footprints as being a little bit less, but I don't necessarily want you to bend the rules, like, because if this is more meant for like a wilderness hunter, then maybe it should stay that way. The only way I could think that this might apply. Oh, I'm sorry, what's that?
There's a bunch of debates about that on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I might say, the only thing I can kind of put it to that I don't think there's anything in the game already to cover is tailing. Like in an urban environment, you might have to follow like someone with a sea of umbrellas like through a street and not lose them.
Right.
And that might be something I could see this as helping, having the kind of eye that is able to track that umbrella or that head through the crowd and so on. So I'm leaning towards taking this if I could use it that way.
Yeah.
But for now, I'll just do it tentatively, and if there's any reason why it shouldn't apply that way, just let me know.
Right.
In which case, I'll probably switch to outdoors.
And I'm down for that. And I mean, it's not impossible to track somebody in a city. I mean, but the conditions would have to be right?
Yeah.
There could conceivably be times where you could track. I mean, you could track friends for wet.
Well, and also I could probably recognize boot prints, like from a crime scene previously. If that's kind of work me and someone's character did, I might say like, "Oh, I recognize that boot print. We saw it here."
Use it as a investigative tool as opposed to a literal tracking tool of like.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. My husband's good with tire tracks.
I think that.
There you go. He likes My Cousin Vinny, I'll bet.
Yes, he does. We love that movie. We both love that movie. But
anybody that's done their Witcher duties, what are they called? Motivations. Did you work off of the table, or what did you do?
Yeah, I just picked like.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna roll off the table. See what happens.
Yeah.
Kind of fun sometimes to roll.
Kind of fun. We'll see. You know what I mean?
That table's
like that's really what it comes
down to.
That table's in the core, right?
Oh, see
the core book.
I don't know. I just picked mine from.
Yes, I listed the page number in the chat.
It starts on page.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the
Oh, I see
chat.
it.
It starts on page.
Yep, core, page 46.
46.
Oh, 48. Okay, 46, 48. Got it.
Yeah, that's where the first thing is 48. So here in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna have to go out and get my food.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to feed my cat too, so that's kind of.
Well, we know she
right.
We don't want Joy to be unhappy.
Never, you know.
This is cool.
Shifters.
Yeah, this is way. The reason this is way cool is because like we've kind of said, I'm making my character this time, so like I kind of know how to make a character now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Right.
this is neat. I like. I just like the. So I went through all the spells and I found the conjure spell, which will allow me to summon demons.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at talents and I have like blood sacrifice where I could cut myself and add success, and then I have signature
Sure you don't want to
spell
be the villain in this?
that I can reduce the difficulty of the check by one. It's cool. I like the.
Getting a little too close
your
to one of
own
my
class,
story ideas,
you
dude.
I'll tell you what. I think that one side of this group is going to be a little bit more nefarious than the other.
I don't even know. This is a world of gray, like, you know.
Oh, it's
It's going to be a
super.
player versus player campaign of.
It wouldn't be the first time with this, would it?
No.
So I have a question for you, Sam.
Yeah.
Like looking at the shifter.
Mhm.
I'm kind of wondering if doing like a magic character with that as a primal magic,
Yeah, I think that could work.
right? Might make
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything for that in the Eberron list of careers, but
I mean, what would your concept be? Like, you could be a primalist from Terrinoth.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Be like a primalist shifter.
I mean, what I would say is like, don't like use the Eberron guidebook as just that, a guidebook, right? Like,
Yeah.
think of it as like, okay, because it's got where the most value comes from that book is if with the dragon mark stuff,
Right.
and the yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, because and you know, some of the things like the Kalishtar, some of the racial
Right.
things that aren't in the other book, but like pretty much everything else, I think you can refer to the core book or the Realms of Terrinoth. Yeah, I mean,
So I'll think that might be the direction I would go in, and then I don't know how I fit in with everybody yet. Maybe I don't know.
well, you could always come in later too. I mean,
It's not whether I'm really gonna do wizard or not. I mean, a magic user or not.
yeah.
I might decide to do something else, but it might be kind of fun to be like somebody you guys knew as an informant or something like that.
Well, I mean, that's something to consider too, is like if you want to run a few sessions to get it started, right? And then you're like, okay, then maybe I'll hand it off. You could introduce an NPC, right, that you end up picking up. Although be careful with that, because we might just be like, whatever, we don't care about this NPC.
I might just play a scoundrel.
There you go.
And I think
You'd fit in.
the GM should get the same experience that the players get to apply to their character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that'd be really, really fun, and who, you know, maybe more than one of you wants to, you know, I know Sam's thinking about running. I don't know if any of the rest of you are, but
I'd run.
cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is a world I do know. I think I could run a few things.
Be a good one for you to jump in and run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I said, I've run things. I've just never run anything online. You know what I mean? It's
Well, what are you waiting for? Come on, dude.
Well, and the other thing, I mean, like, we never have to broadcast or record a game. Like, if you guys ever want to do something and you don't want to have it for the world to see, that's fine with me.
Okay, now I just did something and I just want to make sure I'm not stupid. If you roll a 00 on 1d10 and then a number on the other one, that's the low number, right?
Yes.
0, 0, and an 8, so that's an 8.
That's
So
an
it's
8.
an 8. Mhm.
Okay. So to get 100, you have to roll all zeros.
Man, I so many times was like, oh, I got 102.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
Yeah, and I was not like I'm very happy with all of the motivations that I have, but I'm not. I wouldn't have been happy with the one I got at that point. All the rest of it, but the other one's fantastic. So
And then the other thing was maybe using the regrets. We were thinking.
Yeah, I did that. I took that.
I'm down for I'm down for regretting shit.
So those are on page.
All right, let me look. I think my food might be here.
So it's the Eberron. It's the Wayfarer's Guide, and it's page. What page is this?
Oh no, it's not. She's still got a couple minutes.
It was like 30.
10.
Yeah, 10. Yeah.
She's still got a couple minutes. Girl named Tiffany. I'm Uber eating. Uber Eats.
Uber. We can't get Uber.
Well, clearly
Oh,
you live in.
what? You can use Uber to deliver food?
Yeah, it's
start it up.
yeah. It's and it comes right out of my it comes right out of my PayPal account. It's so cool.
Oh shit! I wonder if we
There's
have
also
that here.
DoorDash and there's
And
one other one.
Grubhub.
Grubhub, thank you. Grubhub. I can never remember the name of that one.
But Uber Eats right now because I take a lot of Ubers because I'm I don't have a car. So for like the next little bit, like all my Uber Eats are like $5 off. So I'm like I'm just gonna use Uber Eats because I used Uber Eats' delivery fee is actually pretty high.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whereas Grubhub
Depends, doesn't it?
What's that?
It depends, doesn't it, on how close it is to you?
Yeah, it's that. It's also that. So I got food from an Asian fusion place today that I'll be very excited to eat here soon.
You don't like Asian food? What are you doing?
No, I hate Asian food. It's terrible. So I have that, but she's going to be here at approximately 9:29. The cool thing about it is that
That's a long way from now.
yeah, well, yes, it is for you.
3
but
hours,
for
man.
me,
3 minutes.
2 minutes from now.
Yeah.
I don't think the cat's gonna wait that long to eat.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am also not going to wait that long to eat because I'm
Me
going to
either.
be.
Actually, when I feed her, I'm gonna grab something. So it might be like a 10-minute break or something.
Yeah, it's
Oh man.
Okay, so
doing things here.
My
guys, I've
regrets
never
are
done
sad.
a session 0 before, so outside of character creation, what else should we be talking about? We figured out where
Well, yeah. What
where
are
the home
things-
base is for those who are.
Oh,
Obviously, Corey lives up in the towers somewhere, right?
Well, yeah. I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do. I think I haven't decided. I don't know if I just am dragon marked or if I'm part of a house. I haven't decided that yet. But I'm certainly dragon marked. Actually,
Okay.
maybe I might because I can just use the points. I may be lesser dragon marked actually. Which means that I've taken 2 ranks in it. To tier 2. So, because it's only 15.
Well, but I think you still have to follow the.
No, yeah. So I'm going to take the first one and then take the second one.
Yeah, but I think to get a tier 2 talent, you have to have a total of 4 tier 1 talents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, right?
no.
Oh, you don't?
It might not be that way with dragon marks.
Oh, wait.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know
think
about
that's-
Dragon Marts. I know with regular it says at the beginning for character creation in Genesis, you just got to pay the price for talents. Let's see. Yeah, purchasing talents.
But I thought
It
you
just says tier 1 talents cost 5. Everyone after that, every tier higher costs times 5.
Let's see.
It just says after buying a talent in a tier, you must ensure your character has more talents in the tier below it. So you have to have more talents in the tier below.
Right. So to get
So
a tier 2, you have to have 3 tier 1 talents.
right. Or
That's
two.
like
no,
fate.
2.
2 tier 1s to get a tier 2, and
Yeah.
Are you sure? I thought you had to have more talents in the tier below than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, so if you have
you're
one
buying.
tier 1 talent,
Yeah.
the other 2 need to be tier 1. Because
Right.
2 is more than 1, right? So you have 1 here, and then you got 2.
Oh,
so to get a
sorry.
tier 3, you have to have 3 tier 2s, right?
Not tier as in like the number that comes after it. It's talking about boxes.
Oh,
You need to have
right.
2 tier 1 talents to get a tier 2.
Okay.
After
So to
that?
get a tier 3, you have to have
3 tier 1s and 2 tier 2s.
right.
Oh, okay, right. You have to have more talents in the next lowest tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's,
Which is interesting, but I guess that's the pyramid.
That's even harsher than fate. Because in fate, you can at least have the, like 2 and then 2 and then 2. You don't have to have more. You just have to not have less.
equal to.
Okay, I gotta go feed the Joy because she's getting anxious. I'll be back in a minute, you guys.
Joy is
A
dropping.
little more than that, but
So if your character has 2 tier 1 talents, they can only have a single tier 2 talent, right? And can't have any tier 3 talents. But if your character has 4 tier 1 talents, they can have 3 tier 2 talents, 2 tier 3 talents, and a single tier 4 talent. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, right.
All right.
4 tier
One other
1 talent.
problem here.
You know, an easy way to think of that is depending on how many tier 1 talents you have, you could just say, like, if you have 2, you unlock tier 2. If you have 3, you could potentially. Well, no. I don't know. It's weird. You got to make a pyramid.
Yep.
Pretty much what it is.
In the in the conversion file, it doesn't have light and heavy ranged. It gives me ranged as a career skill. What should I? Oh, wait, that's right. Chris just stepped away. So when she gets back, I'll ask her.
I'll do that.
So with us, Jose, you haven't said anything in a while.
My bad. I was going through like my motivations and flaws and all that shit.
Yeah.
You want to hear them?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll tell you mine if you done. I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
So my desire is wealth. My fear is humiliation. My strength is courageous, and my flaw is ignorance.
Nice.
So did you pick those or did you roll them?
I picked them.
Okay.
The ones that I rolled didn't work out too well. I figured this works out because ignorance is a word forge. You don't really know people that well. I can play that out, and then courageous. I mean, it's a fucking machine. So
Yeah, absolutely.
then the humiliation, it would make sense because he wants to fit in, but you know, it's kind of hard when you look like a machine. And then wealth is pretty much that's what he knows best. He knows that with money you can get places.
No, absolutely. Do we want to talk about those things? Because I'll tell you what mine are. Well, he just did, so I guess we might as well.
Good. What do you got?
So I'm also wealth, but for a whole different reason. Because I am wealthy. Let's see what the second is failure. My strength, fear is failure. My strength is patient. And my flaw, which goes awesome against my patience, is anger.
My flaw is anger too.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. So maybe we'll gel on that whole thing of being just
Be angry people.
The funny thing is, I was thinking about picking that one, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to cause like the group like problems. So.
Well, it just for me it fit with the idea of this sort of like angry, hard-boiled, like street detective kind of thing, you know.
Right. I'm not sure how it's gonna work in for her yet, but we'll figure it out. Yeah?
Yeah, mine is my desire is justice, and I sort of thought of that as like I want justice for Brayland and for the Syrian refugees because you know my whole goal is to sort of track down who created the Morning, which destroyed Siri and I'm and I won't stop until I find out who it was or what it was. And then my fear is Nemesis, and I was thinking that in my investigations I've run afoul of the Order of the Emerald Claw several times, so they know me and they have a price on my head. And obviously they have agents everywhere, and so I will likely seek out confrontations with them, but they have a particular lieutenant that I'm a little bit afraid to run into, a Carnathi female that will not hesitate to do bad things to me if she catches me. So that was my fear, is running into her, even though I kind of want to. And then my strength is I'm patient, so I'm always willing to wait. And I know the power of being calm. By waiting for the right opportunity, your character avoids all manner of unpleasant and dangerous situations. However, when such an opportunity presents itself, your character acts swiftly and decisively. So, I think my guy would be more of the I'm going to go, I'm going to talk to people, I'm going to investigate, and I'm going to wait until the moment's right, and then go in. And make my move, However, my flaw is anger, so those might conflict from time to time.
Yeah, that's gonna be great because if anything happens since I'm working for you, you get angry at somebody.
Yeah, it's like, you need me to stick 'em, boss? Not just yet.
I'll tell you what. You three sound like you're right out of the movie Bright.
Yeah, kinda.
Which is not a bad thing. That movie was dope.
Yeah, I liked it. I hate how people said, "Oh, this is Shadowrun. This is Shadowrun." I'm like, no, this is a buddy cop movie set in a fantasy realm. This is not Shadowrun. Like, leave it.
All right, I think I got my guys done. I just gotta buy equipment. So
Coco.
His motivations are, his desire is knowledge of the dark arts. His fear is death would be so horrid. And his strength is he's analytical. And his flaw is he's timid. So he doesn't want to die.
Timid. Like
Yeah.
He doesn't want to die.
I like it. A dig. All right. I am going.
What about you, Ron?
I named my character. His name is Sir Bram Sterling. It has to be a sir with a moniker.
I love that name.
Sure, bro.
It's so good.
500 gold.
Whatever it is, but it's really yummy.
Did I hear something about Shadowrun?
Yeah, a lot of people have said Bright was Shadowrun.
Oh, yeah, sorta.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. To me, it was like Shadowrun before it, like probably like right after the other races appeared. But not so much Shadowrun as it exists in the game. Just my opinion. So what'd you get, Corey?
For food,
Yeah.
I got a rice bowl from a place called Mochi Grill here. It has fried rice because I opted to have that, and I got spicy tuna.
Ooh. That probably has avocado in it, though, huh?
You know it.
Ugh.
But we could have got it without that.
Well, I keep losing the chat instead of.
Bad, good.
There we go. Anybody need me to look anything up?
I think it's perfect that we did those motivations when she wasn't here.
And
that's
yeah,
so
I'm actually just
Oh,
I
I
just
missed
finished
them?
mine.
And not
Um,
not that she can't just look at all of our seats and see it. But
True.
Not all of them. I actually just finished mine. I got belonging as my desire, isolation as the fear, adaptable as the strength, and pride as the flaw.
nice,
Nice.
nice.
Those are good. Oh, my
I don't think he lives with his other people here. He's had to adapt to living in Sharn. And he doesn't want to end up alone, but half-orcs aren't terribly welcome everywhere.
I think not, unfortunately.
But he still has enough pride to get pissed if somebody insults him.
Yeah. Again, sounds just like right.
Oh, sweet.
There we go. My screen froze up.
Wow, this is good.
Do you know if we still start with 3 of our career ranks? Because I know I've only ever done, really, the Fantasy Flight games. And when you choose a career, you have the career list. And you always get 3 of them for free. I don't know if that's still the case, because it doesn't mention it.
No, I don't think so. I didn't see it in the rules.
Oh, it's not in the core rules. Okay.
No. Yeah, I noticed that too. We get gypped on the skills.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Jim?
I would say go find those skills and, go find something close enough in the other books and do it. Like.
Oh, no, I mean,
No.
we have them. We have access
ranks.
to them. It's just in Edge of the Empire and all the Star Wars games.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you take
'cause we don't
Slicer,
have-
you get 3 automatically.
Right. You don't have
Without-
specializations in Genesis.
Right, exactly. I think, yeah, that must be part of the specialization trade-off.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed that with the money too. We only start with 500. There's no way to bump it up.
Right. A lot of people whine about that. But I was thinking about, for Eberron, doing kind of like in Shadowrun, how it depends on the how your lifestyle, what lifestyle you think you live, and that would determine it. But I don't have anything to base that on yet. I'm waiting for that book to show up. But like if you're poor lifestyle, then start you at a different, with less money, right? And somebody who's like a scion or something.
What book are you waiting for that has that information?
I think I saw something about that in the City of Towers.
Oh yeah, the Sharn book. That one obviously will be based on D&D 3rd edition rules, but yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, didn't I see something about cost of living in that book, Sam?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's again, it's a lot like it's a lot like Edge of the Empire in the sense that if you live in the nice areas of Nar Shaddaa, it's going to cost a hell of a lot more than if you're living way down in the Undercity.
Right. Which, come to think of it, maybe there's something in Edge of the Empire that we could use for the same thing.
Or just make it up.
Well, yeah, I just need something to base it off of because I don't. There's a whole thing about what different things cost where you live in Sharn that will help me set what that should be.
Quick question: when you do tracking or, well, actually, I've already covered that. I'm just trying to. I'm wondering whether I should put my talents in survival or streetwise. When I go and I take them,
I would
he
do
does
street
the investigating. Streetwise, yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think Streetwise is ever a terrible idea.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go too crazy with it, but enough.
So
that's...
it says on page.
But then what if we're in a wilderness area? We just let people roll their streetwise.
No.
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 I would think you don't. No, because if
No,
you're
you
a city
definitely
boy,
Right.
you shouldn't be good.
Because Streetwise is
in the
about
country.
talking to
Well, that's
talking to
true.
people on the streets and hitting
Well-
up the local vendors and kind of like doing your thing, saying hey, what's up? What have you heard the news? Checking in with your contacts. Where survival is more about knowing that moss grows on the north side or whatever, and knowing these are the footprint
Right.
of this kind of thing, and
These
streams.
plants are edible.
Yeah, the water flows downhill, so like that sort of thing.
I
That's
would just
true.
add to Streetwise and say that I've always considered it like also not just talking to people, because I don't necessarily always want it to require like role play or have people feel like it requires role play, but just knowing where the subways go
Mhm.
and like where the closest deli is where somebody
Yeah.
would have to go if they were going to eat and all that stuff.
Where to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
the
yeah.
person
City
who
knowledge
makes
and all
the
that.
fake IDs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally.
Yeah, but I completely agree with Sam. You wouldn't use one to replace the other, especially in the opposite environment, because the whole point is you're good here, not there. Or you're
Right.
good there, not here.
That's
Right.
true.
Makes sense.
So we might need to create additional characters later.
Maybe.
Yeah. If a
For
group of city people needed to go out, they'd hire a guide.
well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you have people. There's the Wayfinder Foundation or whatever will do that, and there's like a tracking guild, I think, and all that, or a house. For money, it says after you've done your 500 currency, after you finish purchasing starting gear, roll a D100. Add the value of the die roll to any remaining starting funds. So you can gain a little bit more by rolling a D100, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But maybe that's something we should.
I was just thinking about doing a custom thing that was
Yeah.
more based on your style.
So that works for me. I mean, I don't necessarily know if it matters if we track, gold or currency or whatever.
Mm-mm.
I hate that.
It helps establish like where would you live and stuff. If all you have for starting cash is based on a D100, then everybody's poor no matter what.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I guess technically it doesn't have to be that way, but that's how I always feel, right? Like,
Well, I guess it depends. I mean, how much is 75 gold worth in? It depends on where you are.
right.
$75 isn't going to get me much in Beverly Hills, but who knows what I
Right.
might be able to buy in, insert X crappy town
Bobway.
here. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
But
and it
I
also
also
kind of depends on
always
how
feel
you
like-
interpret it as a GM. Like, that's what we have on us.
yeah.
Right.
Like, you need to decide, like, if in our backstory we own an investigative company, does that have income? Is that
Right.
like, is it cover it? Like, with what we have, we can't cover it. So you're probably going to have to say that whatever it is at least covers itself for X period of time. Like it's generated enough money to cover the next 6 months or whatever, 3 months. But then also you could say that there's extra income coming in off of that as long as we do the jobs that come in over time. You know what I mean? So we could have
Yeah.
income. But also, like Sam said, you roll the D100 and you add it to whatever you have left over after buying your
Yeah.
stuff. So if you didn't buy a lot of stuff, you could still have a bunch of money.
Right. But
So
I don't know.
just so you know, under the survival skill on page 65 in the core book, where it says your character should not use this skill if, it says your character tries to find their way around an urban environment. In this
Right.
case, the character should use Streetwise. And for Streetwise, it technically says your character tries to find their way around an unfamiliar city, but I think it's, you know, an unfamiliar place. So if you're running around in the woods, Streetwise is not going to help you.
Right.
But survival would.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking about, like, what do we do if we run an adventure that's not in the city anymore?
That's not, you don't necessarily have
do
to worry
something
about
else.
that. Let us worry about that.
Right. Right.
That's why story
I
points
was just
exist.
jumping to the wrong conclusion.
Yeah, we do start off pretty poor. I'm looking at stuff here, but I'll make the best
Yeah.
of it.
I mean, it always bugs me because if you live in a city, and you've been there a while, you didn't just, like, walk in off the street after finishing an adventure.
Do we want to start with more money, or do we want to just start with 500? I'm just asking because
So for me, I always, like, I don't care about tracking coin necessarily, because I mean, in Edge of the Empire, it's one thing, because that's kind of a central tenet of it. But in Eberron, because it's much more of like typically it's more of a pulp heroic kind of thing. Like, chances are we're going to be currying favor with people, right? And we're going to be, using maybe intimidation or whatever to get things that we need, coercion. We might be given things by a patron. So I don't know that tracking currency is necessarily all that important. I mean, it's up to you guys. I think we should decide as a group, but, like,
how do we buy stuff?
I mean, you could use a story point if it's
Right.
between sessions. You could have some. I mean, I think it's okay to have some gold, right? But, like, I think in the beginning I would use the 500, and then if there's anything that you specifically that you want above that, I would just say ask, and maybe it's fine.
I personally, like, usually look at money this way, like, whatever you have technically in your tracking, 57 or whatever, it's like you're spending money. And the GM kind of weighs the hand for all the other, like, random things, like eating during non-games. You don't actually take that out of your gold or anything like that. You know what I mean? It just kind of happens.
I think,
And then,
I guess what I'm hearing, the difference between, because I agree with you, Roy, like the non-micromanagement thing I agree with. I think from what I'm hearing from Sam is, like, I'm just looking at magic items, right? There's a magical tome that's 750 gold that increases my magical ability. Like, to me, I should be accumulating gold to, like, buy that, but I'm hearing that I shouldn't. You get what I'm saying? That's right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, for character creation, I would just stick with the 500.
500,
yeah.
But as we play, we'll get awarded gold.
Yeah. And I think it's okay to tell the GM, maybe we have, like, a Google Doc, or we put a shared thing in Roll20 or whatever, where it's like, what are things that you want? And I think that it's okay to be like, oh yeah, sure, I've got this job. Okay, great. Hey, by the way, I'm looking for this thing. It's a little bit rare. You get me that, and I'll do this job for you. That kind of thing.
Based off where, I guess from D&D, the way I'm used to it is when there's items listed in a chart, if you're in a city, they're all easily accessible.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't need to scoop it down.
D&D,
Depending on now,
5e has a lot of rare and all types of items like that. You have to roll and see if you can find them.
Well, those are magic items.
Oh, sorry. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a difference.
Even the mundane albums, like, there's charts that say what a country store is likely to have versus what an urban store is likely to have. So, like, they don't always have everything. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
We're in New York City so it's
that's
like
true. That's true.
I'm not in Hoboken.
Well, does it list a rarity on that item?
Right.
I mean, because that's how Genesis handles it.
But I was wondering about.
Yeah, so no, that's what I'm asking for Genesis,
Mhm.
because I'm just trying to wrap my head around it for mundane items that have, like, I'll give you an example. Let me see here. I'm sure this is, plate armor has 6 rarity, but you're in a big ass city where every major guard has plate armor. So
Right.
what does that mean? Like, I'm assuming I could buy plate armor just going into a shop, say, hey, give me plate, and they would.
Yeah, so I would say that's up to the GM, but I would say that the base rating for plate armor is 6 rarity. In a huge city like Sharn, it's probably like a 3. You know, it's probably not all that uncommon. Or
are we
that.
just saying that Eberron sells up any item up to rarity, whatever? You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Like, Eberron has, or Sharn has, we're up to rarity 8, or I don't know.
I'd say that Sharn, you can get whatever you want.
Yeah.
If it's, does Genesis list restrictive and illegal? It may not.
I don't think so.
I don't think it does. So I would say then that, like, I mean, yeah, probably like rarity 8 is still going to be difficult to find in Sharn. I would say that you can find it, but it'll likely be expensive.
Yeah, but the expense is listed on the chart.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. If there's an expense, then yeah.
But
then
the
that's fine.
expense is really high in the case of the thing you're looking at.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Like if it's an 8, it's probably a pretty high expense.
Yeah, like 1,000. Yeah, that's all I'm just trying to wrap my head around
Right.
the difference between, like, 5e and Genesis, and this is different than Star Wars, because in Star Wars they have specific rules of, like, you would make a check to see if they have the item in stock.
Well, technically, that's the same thing in Genesis. You'd still do the same thing. It depends if you want to do that or not. Because, again, like in Sharn, it depends, right? So if it's a rarity 8 item, maybe we say that item is still hard to find, or maybe it is not hard to find per se, but it might be difficult to get somebody to part with. So if it's super rare, the GM might be like, yo, you could buy this if someone's willing to sell it to you. But
Got it. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the table now. The rarity, like, 10 is a formidable.
Yeah.
If it's something crazy, like a...
Well, I didn't know they went that high. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there should be some stuff that you would, like, hire people like mine and Sam's character to find for you. Maybe if we were, like, unscrupulous versions of what we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there would be some other items that even you'd go to them and ask if they could find it, and they'd go, even if I could, I wouldn't want to get my neck into that, or something like that. And then there should be another level of item that you wouldn't even bother asking, because it's insane.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, yeah, and then, like, looking at the magic tome, like, it does say in the description that, like, this isn't just like your average spell book. This is something, that is really reasonably rare.
But to Anthony's
Yeah,
point,
it's like the tome is a rarity 7.
Hello.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm looking at, like, the chart in Genesis. It says that would be a hard check, 3 purple. But then it says there's a modifier. It says if you're
Chalice.
in a metropolitan area, you drop it by 1. So it'd be a difficulty 2.
No, that seems reasonable.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It actually would drop it from 7 to 6, so it would still be a hard check.
Still would. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the economy, because I guess I've never dealt.
Right.
In Star Wars, I've just bought shit. I never really thought about it in this extent. 'Cause I don't even think we've ever bought. I don't think we ever did, like, shopping.
No.
Not really. I mean, because for me, it's not something I ever care about, so so I just
I had my newbie starting gear like 10 sessions later with Sam. It's like, here's my shitty pistol. Pew, pew.
Hey, if you guys wanted to get stuff, you just say, I
kidding. I just give you a hard time, man. I give you a hard time. It doesn't really matter, though. It doesn't really matter in this system as it does in other systems, which is interesting because, like, now that I think about it, I did never ask you because it never mattered.
Right. I mean, like, could you have asked for, a spin barrel or, a weighted grip or whatever? Yes, like there are augments that you can put on it, but
it never
ultimately,
Interesting. Okay. So I know what I'm going to do for my guy. He's just going to bulk up because he's scared of dying. So I'm just going to buy a shit ton of defensive items.
There you go. Maybe you could buy like a bunch of like what is it? Not grit, but what's the other one that
So I got this interesting talent that lets
actually
me.
grit would be useful.
This one talent lets me remove 2 setback dice from any skill check that I make associated with a certain skill. So I picked. It's called Knack for it in the Genesis core book.
Oh, that's a good one.
I have that one as well. Yeah.
It subtracts 2 setback dice, and then if I go to spell casting, if I hold a shield, it causes me to cast with a setback, and if I wear, if I have my both hands to second setback, so now I can do this and like remove those setback, and I can be more defensive, which is cool.
So you see
I wanted
why
to play
I
well.
add setbacks?
Well, this is the mechanic, but yeah, I see now. Yeah,
Because the mechanic is useless if there are no setbacks to reduce. You know.
that's true.
I wanted to play well off of Sam, so the talent that I added, I paid 5 for, was the clever retort.
Nice.
Nice.
Because that's the thing. My character is kind of characteristically not super smart. Only has the intellect that's given with the race, which is low. But they are cunning, and he doesn't like being considered an idiot. So, like, he likes to make clever, witty comments, which he's good at. He's just not necessarily good at the heavy lifting thinking, like big plans or how to spend all their money or things like that.
I like it.
Sweet.
Gosh. My screen is still frozen.
Ooh,
Which
that's
screen?
not good.
Your Zoom screen?
Zoom. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it just froze up. I can't do anything with it. I can't mute anymore or unmute, which is fine, I guess. At least you guys can hear me. And everybody's frozen.
Bummer.
Yeah. Sam, you're not even there. You're just your logo.
Oh, whoa, really?
Yeah, and Corey's like permanently frozen, turning away from the camera, eating his food.
Oh, you froze like a while ago then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came back and I was frozen.
What if you like turn your camera off and turn it back on? I don't know if that would help.
Oh, that's a thought.
It probably won't, but it's, you know.
Gear description.
We can see you just fine, which is funny.
Oh, all right.
Anyway,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. That means you've been watching me eat.
I mean, it's, you know, we were watching Corey
Par for the
eat too.
course.
No problem.
Where do we grab weapons from and gear? Do we use the Genesis core?
The Realms has it all.
Realms has more.
Realms?
Yeah, Realms of
Which one's
Terrinoth
that?
has more of the fantasy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't have Realms of Terrinoth.
Okay.
He
I
posted
can
it
link it.
before he got in here.
Oh,
Okay.
Let's see. So
and
I'll send you the link.
gotcha.
Do you want me to send it in the Zoom chat or? I mean, is
Yeah,
that-
send it here. Yeah. Because that's the computer. That'll be it.
All right, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, this will make that easier.
But sorry about that. Yeah, man, I definitely can't wait for us to start playing this. This is gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, Chris, how are you feeling about running us through an encounter?
not too good.
No?
Oh,
No, we can
tonight?
try it.
I was actually.
We can try it.
I was actually about to say I actually have to hop off shortly. I didn't know how long we'd be doing this tonight. I didn't realize that we were thinking about doing an encounter as well. To be honest,
I mean, we don't have to.
I apologize.
You know, no, it's totally fine.
We I mean I'm still just as ready as I was before, so I mean I totally could run it. Although
Let's see here.
can't even find my webcam. Except to like absolutely I'll have to mess with it later. I don't want to actually disconnect it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you wanted to bounce out and then jump back in, you can, or you could always jump in on your phone.
Yeah, except I'm not even getting the leave meeting I wonder. Huh. Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
It's weird, but this is the first time I've had trouble with it. I'm gonna try clicking. No, it's not responding to any clicks. Wonder what would happen if I just tried to reopen it.
Zoom? I don't know. I mean, yeah, you could try.
Just might be asking for more trouble, but we'll see. Oops, that's not it.
So when are we gonna officially start this?
Yes, when
2
would you guys
Sundays
like
from
to?
now, or next Sunday?
It wouldn't be next Sunday at all,
Okay.
Okay.
because
Then
Corey and I have
probably
that
the
other.
following Sunday.
What's up?
Corey and I have that other game on the opposing Sundays, so yeah, it would have to be
Right.
the one after that, which is the 26th.
Mhm.
Holy cow!
26th. Oh, shoot. You know what? Oh, shoot. I'm away on the 26th. I just realized. Shit. Yeah.
Corey.
Sorry, we planned it before we switched to the alternate weekends. I actually did plan it around our old game, but I booked the Airbnb like 3 months ago, and we used to
Well,
have
you
it on
know
the
what?
opposite Sundays.
If we'd been on the other schedule, I'd be missing anyway because the following weekend is the
Yeah, I have an Airbnb. We're staying on a cow farm, so I'll be there and with not very good internet. I would
Oh,
say
that
I would
sounds
try to play, but I don't trust it.
Yeah, where, like, you're staying on a cow farm voluntarily? Why?
It was like Dwight
Oh,
Schrute.
my wife wants to go.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing
I mean,
the dude ranch kind of thing?
Kinda. My wife and my daughter will probably wake up, feed the cows. That's like part of the thing. And there's like goats on the farm. And it's just in the area of upstate where we're going to be moving to shortly. And we're going to be doing other stuff. But it's really just a separate house on the cow farm that's rented out through Airbnb. But, you know, it's a nice place to stay. And the cow farm is like not like the actual barn is not far down the hill. You can kind of walk down to it in the morning. And they have like, they're like, you can go downstairs to the main house and get like biscuits and like fresh milk and all these other things in the morning and stuff like that, and eat country food. We did something similar earlier in the summer, and it was pretty good.
It sounds fun to me. It'd be more fun if there was horseback riding, but
I hear you.
I haven't been
hear you.
riding in so long.
That's how I'm trying to coax my dad to move upstate with us, because he used to train horses for the rodeo, and he hasn't obviously in a very long time. But I keep telling him, I'm like, I'm gonna have horses.
That'd be
You sure you don't
awesome.
want to come? I'm gonna have horses. Just come hang
Oh,
out with the
so
horses.
that's where we'll go. Play for Rory.
When I move, yeah, I'm gonna have like 7 acres. That's the minimum amount of space we're looking for. So I could definitely house you. Bring a tent up.
Sweet.
well,
Kidding.
yeah, upstate New York is not difficult for me to get to, so.
Sorry,
Yeah, that's
guys. I may or may not have just gotten a drunk FaceTime from my best friend, and it was far too entertaining to turn off. Sorry.
That's all right.
All right.
The only one who would have a hard time coming to an upstate get-together would be Jose, I think. Oh, wait, no,
Yeah,
Anthony.
yeah, he's the
Anthony and
first.
Jose.
I mean, an upstate. Now you mean upstate? My upstate, or upstate from New York City?
Well, I don't know. I think real upstate. In and around the Cooperstown area, like within like 45 to an hour of Cooperstown. Like, I'm actually looking a little further north than that. My family comes from Ovid. I'd kind of like to move back to like the Ovid area.
Absolutely.
But that's pretty
That's like 2
upstate.
hours.
I mean, I think Ovid is near the lake.
Yeah. It's
How close
like,
does that put you to Vermont?
what,
I mean,
5
it's
hours
north,
probably?
but Vermont is also east because you got to cut through.
Yeah,
right?
but
New
I
Hampshire's
mean,
between.
it's well, and the thing is too, like it's not so far from like the southwestern Vermont, but
Right.
I live in northwestern Vermont, so
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
so that's
She
a little
lives-
further.
you live in the farthest side of the state.
It's a lot closer than Long Island.
Yeah.
Although I could take 87 all the way down to Long Island.
Well, I go snowboarding in a mountain that's on the Vermont-Canada border, and it takes like
no, you were
8.5 hours.
Yeah, well, J Peak.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. If you go
So
up
it's
to
like
J
eight
at
and a
all
half
this
hours.
winter, let me know.
You know, I haven't in like I think 2 years now. I don't know. It's definitely been 1
Oh,
year.
you're
I
overdue
don't-
then.
Yeah, I haven't been. In
Yeah,
a long
but-
time.
Yeah, well, you know, taking trips with just the guys has gotten a little bit rarer once the second kid got added to the equation. So
Yeah.
They have a water park. Bring the kids.
I know.
Yep.
I know. Every year
It's
we get the
amazing.
special pass that is like you buy the lift tickets and it just comes with the water park passes.
Mhm.
Snowboard all day and then drink and sit in the hot tub at the water park. That's
Mhm.
kind of awesome.
Mhm.
That makes me want to take up skiing again. Holy cow, that sounds awesome.
It's pretty nice, I gotta say. It's got like a glass roof too, so you'll be like floating in the hot tub, like looking up, and it's
Looking at
snowing.
stars.
You know, stars, snowy skies. It's pretty nice.
Okay, so calendar-wise, then, are we
Yeah.
gonna do something on the 26th?
Yeah, we can run something on the 26th. I can either.
I cannot do the 26th.
Okay,
Oh,
that's fine.
so me and you.
Well, I'm doing a, I'm doing a thing that I've been made for in this group before, and I don't care if you make fun of me. I'm going to see wrestling that night. I'm going to see the WWE. It's my town. So,
That's fine.
Cool, man.
People like what they like. It's all good.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I still think we can run something on the 26th. We'll figure it out. Maybe like Chris. I mean, if you want to do something, Eberron, if you want to create an Eberron character, I can run something sort of tangentially, just as like whether it's like a prologue or just.
I was just about to say that you could do something where the three of you are obviously together, and maybe you meet,
Mhm.
Anthony's character, and then after a while, he would introduce me to the group because I may not be. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and if we want to do that, we could. That might be an opportunity to for Anthony to test out the magic system too.
Yeah.
That as well. I'm sorry, I missed what is that other kind of motivation thing we're doing?
The regrets.
That's what it is. Where do you
That's-
find that in the?
They're in the Wayfinders Guide.
Yeah, it's like page 10 or something.
Shoot.
Oh, it's right in the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's like page 10.
I still got stuff not working right, so this is like, I'm gonna. What a bummer. I'm gonna end up having to do like a force quit on a bunch of stuff after this, probably.
Yep.
Oh well, it's life.
What does HP give you?
That's
those
hard
are hard points.
Yep. So it's like crafting.
Yeah, where
if
did-
you want to add something to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Modifying
my
the
brain immediately went to health points. So
Right.
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Yep.
Get it.
Different kind of HP.
So
Yeah.
then, our next one is until the 9th of September. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So, do we plan on... I'll run that night. Unless something comes up knowing us.
So my regret is interesting. And I don't know how to deal with it.
How do you get the regrets? Where are they at in the Eberron?
Page 10 in the D&D Eberron.
The Wayfinders.
Yeah, Wayfinders.
That might give me some time to come up with something instead of just
Okay.
the encounter from a book. That is maybe...
Oh, in the actual. Got it.
Yeah, and the
Wayfire. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Wayfinders. Yeah. I got a 10, which makes it. I volunteered for mythical mystical experiments. These may be responsible for your class abilities, sorcerer, casting, barbarian rage, but you don't know if there will be side effects.
I mean, I feel like that's a perfect tie-in with Anthony's character. I'm just saying. You know.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
I
it's.
got 4.
So
What is it
some-
again, Corey?
What is
Sorry.
yours that you got?
Who?
What is yours that you got? You regret?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got number 10. You volunteered for mystical experiments. These may be responsible for your class abilities, sorcerer, and then in parentheses, sorcerer spell casting, barbarian rage. But
Maybe that's where you got your dragon mark.
right, but you don't know if there will be side effects.
Fun.
So, yeah,
Oh, that's
no, it's fun.
yeah.
I like it. But again, it does kind of maybe say why we know each other. What the deuce?
Regret. I got, you made a, I just picked this because it fits. You made a bargain with an extraplanar entity that you now regret.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Ooh, that you now regret. I like that twist.
Because his kidney stones haven't gone away. An eternity.
It's like, even though I'm 80, I never had rheumatoid arthritis until now.
Did you already do one, Rory?
Regret? No. I'm grabbing my items right now. I did the other 4. I haven't opened up that file yet.
Fair enough.
Cool. Well, maybe this will give me time to actually read the Genesis book then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it'll give me some time to think maybe about an actual start to the thing instead of just like, oh, here's this random encounter.
So, I mean, what I would do is watch the train heist episode of Firefly.
Oh,
And then maybe go watch Solo, at least the beginning of it.
yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, and there's some ideas there. If you don't
Okay.
do that, I might, because I have a sort of path that I never ended up getting to run that starts with, let's just say it starts with the lightning rail going into Sharn.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had an idea for the urban fantasy thing I wanted to run, and I'm half wondering if I can't just make that work here, especially considering
I bet you could.
some of the careers you guys chose. And then I might need to watch some noir stuff.
Yep.
Because am I imagining things? You guys all sound like you're into the noir idea.
Yeah. Well, that's quintessential Eberron.
That's so cool.
I'm kind of into. I'm not necessarily. So I don't want you to necessarily give me. Well, I mean, okay, I wouldn't be opposed to it either, but I'm not necessarily like demanding a noir plot.
Okay.
I would settle for a cool noir skin to like essentially a bright buddy cop sort of like that sort of situation, or really any other situation you wanted to do. I think the noir skin kind of slides over a lot of things and makes things kind of fun, even while you're doing other things. So I don't care, basically. I think me and him are going to play our characters kind of noir, so maybe that makes us weird, or it makes us fit in your theme. I don't know. That's okay either way. I'm cool with it. Yeah, that's just how I'm going to play my character, whether that makes him an oddball or not.
Nice.
But yeah, I am sorry. I do have to run. I told my brother I would have a conversation with him, and he's waiting for me.
Not a problem.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank
I definitely know my stuff now. I will finish. I just have to finish. I got to give you the regret and just some gear, but I know where to get it now, so I should have no problem with that. Everything else is saved on Roll20, so you can check out anything about my character there.
Nice.
Sweet.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, everybody.
Have a great week.
Have a good night. You too.
Easy.
Nice.
Oh man,
This
where
game is just so cool.
Yep.
It's never ending
Yeah.
cool opportunities.
The other thing, Chris, if you're ever stuck, do you have Numenera?
No.
I have the PDF if you ever want to take a look at it. You can pretty much take anything out of Numenera and put it into Eberron, and it works.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool. Anybody have suggestions about noir stuff I might watch? I mean, obviously Blade Runner, but
I mean, you can watch any of the 1940s detective movies. I personally love The Maltese Falcon.
oh yeah,
Yep.
I haven't watched that in forever.
Yeah, that one's fantastic.
That's
The other thing too, you could always reference the Star Wars Bounty Hunter book just for mechanics wise and kind of the idea of how to structure a game like that. But to me, noir is all about dark and gritty setting. There's always typically either a femme fatale, or if there is a if the female character is sort of the center, then there is the male character who is both alluring and dangerous and whatever. So there is some sort of whether it's an antagonist or it is something that the characters are interested in, but they're dangerous, right? I did set up in my I did send you a chat with an NPC, a possible NPC that you could use. And if you can't see the chat, it's on my sheet as well in Roll20, so you can take a look at that at some point.
Cool.
Yeah, street chases are always good. Oh, gross.
Oh man, that's not be fun.
The hell is that?
What the hell?
It's getting real.
Yeah.
It's getting really real.
But yeah.
Oh my
Again,
gosh.
Your dude looks like he needs to shit and pass going at the same time.
That's not
He
creepy
looks like he's
at
going
all.
to eat that baby. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks
Okay,
like
we're
he's
obviously
big
gonna have to get
girl.
really dark.
Did you see the picture of my guy that I found? If you go up a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up more? Oh,
I mean,
oh.
Yeah, see, to me that looks like a creepy ass Aeon priest from Numenera.
Yeah,
He is.
It
Yeah.
probably is.
But
Yeah.
Anthony, he doesn't look like he's regretting his choice very much.
Well, yeah.
Regret isn't always outward, though, my friend.
Yeah.
He looks scary. Are
Yeah.
you sure you didn't just create our villain? Oh man. Oh Lord.
Oh, but hey, the greatest heroes are one step away from being the villain.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
That's an interesting.
Especially when they succeed.
Come on, think about
Yeah.
it.
Love it.
Think about
I
it.
It's
like
kind of-
Watchmen.
That the best ones are the dark ones that are so morally gray that yeah.
Give me a few examples.
Spawn is one of the greatest characters ever made.
Who's Spawn?
Oh god, I can't believe
yeah.
that.
Yep.
All right, hey, so it was fun talking with you tonight and hanging out, but
Oh
you
man.
do have some homework now apparently, and we'll talk to you.
Yeah. And I have a lot of homework apparently.
Yeah, definitely got to watch Spawn. That's a fun one. So there is
Like
a
Wolverine.
series. Yeah, Wolverine's a good
Yeah,
one.
Wolverine, Magneto.
Although Wolverine usually does, yeah, Magneto is probably a better example because Wolverine usually ends up doing the right thing. There's a
They don't
good,
give me
there's a good
comic
series by Brandon Sanderson called The Mistborn.
Oh, I love that series.
Yeah, so in that,
Although I've read it
the-
so long ago, I don't really remember it.
well, right. So the whole premise is that they find out that the Uber villain that they're trying to fight was the hero of the previous age, and won, but realized that what they were fighting was even worse, and they basically had to become a tyrant to control everybody so that they didn't have to face this thing that was even worse. And so,
Oh,
that's
man.
sort of the example of
I guess I didn't get that far into the series.
That reminds me of Watchmen.
well, yeah, Watchmen's another one.
Yeah, Watchmen's really good. What's the guy with the moving things on his face in Watchmen?
Oh, I
Oh,
know.
God.
It's been so long. Yeah.
Oh, it's got
You guys have completely different taste in things to watch than I do.
because we like superheroes.
Yeah, I don't do comics. I don't do.
So, yeah, about that. Yeah, Chris, it was great talking to you.
I did finally watch Thor Ragnarok, and I did enjoy it, but like,
Yeah, I hadn't seen that. I hadn't seen that yet, and then I watched it on the way to AtCon.
I'm
It's
glad
actually
you
good.
enjoyed it. I did not like the Thor movies. They weren't my.
I can't wait. I can't wait for them to do the girl Thor movie because I know we know it's coming.
The which one?
Well, because Thor's female.
Oh yes, now that's right.
Yeah.
I do like Guardians of the Galaxy, but then
Yeah, movies are dope.
they're not really. I don't know. I didn't even realize they were part of that until they showed up in the trailer for that other movie.
Or
And I was like,
Infinity War.
I don't know.
yeah, which I also
Yeah.
haven't seen.
I haven't done superhero movies in a while. Though I think the last one I watched was Wonder Woman, and I was less than impressed.
Yeah, it
I
wasn't
haven't
amazing.
watched it. I have it DVR'd, but
It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad.
Right, like it was actually a.
it's really funny because some people really rave about it. So
It
That's
was.
Because they have boobs.
no,
No.
my sister raved about it.
Oh yeah, a lot of people they were like, "This was the best." I think rightly they said it was the best DC. I think she's DC Universe, right?
Yeah, she's DC.
Yeah. So I'll agree to that. Although I like the Batman movies a lot, but
Well, Batman's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean,
Batman, I've watched some of and.
but
enjoyed.
my problem, and I guess my problem with the movie, and
He's
my wife had the
clearly-
same issue, is that we thought that it was going to be set in modern day. And it
Oh.
wasn't.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
set
Was
in
it?
like the 40s, right?
40s, yeah, and
Yeah.
and then the other problem was like the lead up to it, to the main storyline took a long time because you got sort of the origin story, and
Right.
I was like, I get it, but the problem is that to me, I'm much more patient than most audiences are. So like, just give me the origin story, then in film 2, give me the
Yeah.
rest of it. Like,
Right.
but they jammed this like 30 minutes in of where like Robin Wright was the best part of that whole.
Oh, hell yeah, she
Yeah,
was.
she was amazing. But then I'm like, no, this is Wonder Woman's story. It's not supposed to be Wonder Woman's mom's story, you know.
Yeah.
So to me, that was troubling. But I mean, overall, it was good, you know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, I always go into a film knowing there's going to be parts that are absolutely amazing and parts that are just fucking suck.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
I just take it for what it is, you know what I mean, oftentimes, and then just you hopefully have a good time. But the one time it's like,
You're good at rolling with things, though.
All right, guys. I gotta go, but I'll catch you guys later.
Take
Yeah,
it-
Okay.
Yeah.
See you later, Jose. Thank you.
Oh, Chris can't see the chat, I don't think.
No, I can't. It's frozen. And what's interesting is Chrome freezes when it's attached to that for too long.
Oh, that's the picture that's on the front of the Wayfarer's guide.
Yeah, I just realized that. Yeah, I was like, man,
I kind
Wayfinder's
of
good,
felt that way about Black Panther. I know a lot of
Oh, see, that's
raved about that movie, and there were a lot of things about that movie that were good and that I liked. And respected. I loved the women in it, especially.
oh, absolutely.
But the story itself,
Wakanda Forever.
I got really
I never
bored.
saw it. Yeah, I don't.
I
know.
got really bored,
Yeah,
and
everyone-
Steven got really bored.
You're gonna feel the same kind of way. It was kind of slowish. But
Yeah,
man,
I didn't like the way
when
they-
they got going. Whew.
When
Yeah.
they finally got going, it was entertaining, but
Yeah.
it also felt very Atlantis to me.
Badass.
Now, I didn't know who Black Panther was. I'm not familiar with I don't know how it fell in with how it's supposed to be, but it felt very Atlantis to me, like the Disney
Kind of supposed to be.
movie. Right.
I got a quick question, real quick, for Chris.
Okay.
So I was buying all my gear, and I, have to spend pretty much the bulk of my money on one of these magic staffs or wands.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the wand on page 99 of the PDF,
Just go for it.
and it says here, get with the GM to determine one of the spell effects. So
Okay.
I'd like my wand to be specific to conjure, because that's my guy's like a demon summoner. And
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
cool.
what would fit for one of the effects is summon ally, because normally if you just conjure without adding anything extra, the NPC is not friendly to you. But if one of the effects is summon ally, and it means when you summon a demon, like it obeys your commands.
Okay.
So that's
Oh.
on page 217 of the Genesys
Terrinoth?
core book.
Oh,
Of the core, yeah, the spell effects are in the core book, page
Yeah.
217.
That's pretty cool. That's very inventive. I like that, sir.
yeah. It sounds reasonable to me.
So I figure, yeah, that would be the wand would be specific to the conjure spell, and then the effect that it allows you to add without increasing the spell difficulty. I'd like to do summon ally.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm good with that.
Cool. Sweet. I mean,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
to me.
Cool. That is a good way to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, because then it makes sense, right? He's this devil summoner, so now
Totally.
he has control of them.
Totally makes sense. It harkens to so many of the book series I read too. I love it.
Oh, okay. So here it is. It says, they can summon a minion no bigger than silhouette 1, such as an animal, magical creature, elemental spirit, or even undead monstrosity. Well, which is fine because it's human sized, so that makes sense.
But then if you look at the conjure effects on the table 2-8, you can do which is neat. You could do medium summon,
Yep.
additional summon, and then there's a grand summon.
Grand summon.
Holy
Yeah, no, that's
crap.
cool. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So we need to try this out because I figure,
Yeah.
Well, it's so the thing that I found is like it's hard not to be like, oh, I want to add this and this and this, and then
Yeah.
you're like 8 difficulty.
I can't afford that cost. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and isn't it actually supposed to be that you spend your advantages on some of the effects?
Like some of them. So like additional summon. So if I use that, I would need to spend 2 advantage, and it would summon a second demon or something.
Yeah.
So like your base spell is 1 difficulty, and then
It's a minion. I would summon a little imp. Or if I increase to medium, I could get a rival, no larger than silhouette 1.
Yep.
Summon
Nice.
that.
Yeah,
and I'm
and-
like, that's a good use. I know that now I'm getting. This is why they talk about that in Dice podcast, right? How the magical items take care of some of the.
Oh yeah, the magical items are tremendously helpful, and like if you're using a wand, for example, for damage spells, like that can add some, I think +3 to damage. Yeah.
Yeah, the wand adds +3 to attack, and then
Right.
it does this. You could spec your guy to have the 3 attack, and then the special, like reduced difficulty. You can make it an attack effect.
Yeah.
So then you're getting like just mega damage, like.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Cool.
But that's neat, the conjure additional effects. Yeah, I think we should definitely come up with like maybe using that link that you sent us, Anthony.
Yeah, I want to find,
Yeah, we need some demons.
if
for
you
sure.
if you tell me, hey, this demon, or these demons are appropriate, then I'll just use those demons. And my goal is to have them fight, because my guy's just gonna run away and like not want to get hit and stuff.
So like this guy is what I threw Chris and Jose up against.
Man, I wish I could.
What page is that on?
So that is on page 215 of Realms of Terrinoth.
Is that a demon? It
Yes.
looks like a demon.
Yes, it
215.
is. Yep. And then
Flesh Ripper.
and then the bigger version.
Is the grotesque? Oh, what the hell? That thing's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
the grotesque is.
That thing's ugly.
Okay, so these things are related. I get it. It goes minion, rival, and then nemesis is that big.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
They
Oh yeah, you got like
Fine
the
Thresher is the nemesis.
Oh, okay.
And then,
So like the
Um,
grotesque is probably what I'd want to try to summon.
yeah, the grotesque is a rival. It is this one. Yeah, the little one that I was showing you. I don't know if this is a grotesque or not, but I used that picture. But the Flesh Ripper is the minion.
It's the minion.
Yeah.
I think that's the.
So I'm gonna probably use that medium
I
summon.
think the grotesque is on the next page. Oh, maybe that's
shit.
Fine Thresher.
That's
I
what
should try to
thought.
summon that Nemesis through the grand summon. Holy crap!
I mean, yeah, because you
It's
would
what,
have
3
to
difficulty?
do. Yeah.
How many difficulty?
Yeah.
So I have four intellect with 2 arcana. So I have 2 yellows and 2 greens. Do you think that's a good?
Nice.
I mean,
Would
do
you
you want
guys
to do
go
a
for
test
that?
roll? Yeah, like
Yeah. Let's see.
so your base spell effect is 1 difficulty. You'd add the other 2 for the grand summon. But then your wand, you says, would reduce it by 1.
No, it would just make it an ally.
Oh,
It would
okay.
always add that effect. Summon.
Oh,
ally.
I see. Summon ally. Okay.
Because I don't want to do that
Yeah,
grand
for free.
summon and that
Yeah.
thing not like me.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we're all
Demons, you
dead.
gotta watch that.
They were all just gonna just kill everybody.
And then, I mean, I would upgrade
That's
that
cool.
because, of course, you'd have to. But
Yeah. Let me see.
yeah.
Let me
Oh,
get
nice.
Because you're Sam, and
Let
that's
me
how
add
you do
the
things.
3.
Yeah, but it's more fun. So
Let
2,
me add
6,
the 3. Let me add the 3 difficulty. 'cause
Oh,
I didn't
yes,
have that.
yeah.
And then I would do an. Let's see, Arcana. Okay, let me make sure my. I think there's something in the dice pool that's adding another yellow.
I thought I cleared mine.
Or is there an upgrade maybe?
Well, hang on, maybe. No, I'm all clear.
Let me try one more time.
I did have stuff in there earlier, and so you might have
There we
rolled
go.
before I
There
cleared
you
it.
go. Ooh.
Okay.
Well,
Some threats and a triumph. Well,
yeah.
okay, it's possible.
Yeah. It's certainly possible.
Sweet, look at that one.
If it doesn't work, I take strain. I think.
Well,
5 and a
I think you
triumph?
take strain no matter what. I think you
Yeah,
have
sorry,
to-
you're right. I take strain no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you like take 2 strain?
2
like,
strain for
just
every
doing it?
spell attempt.
Yep. That's why getting advantage is so important.
Oh, you're right. Because then I could just
Clear strain.
clear
yeah.
strain. Wow.
Yeah, that's why, Chris, in this game, when you have spellcasters, use threat to give them, to give them strain, because damn,
Holy crap.
yeah, all of a sudden you're
So
like, oh,
in
no.
addition to the strain they already get, you mean?
Mm-hmm. So like
So,
if
like,
they
you're
take
giving-
2, yeah, and then they roll 3 threats or whatever, I might be
Yeah,
like,
right.
okay, I'm going to give you some some strain here, because it makes
You like
sense.
shut them down.
Yeah, because you could describe it as like the spell sort of backfires and you have to mentally guard yourself against it, take 2 points of strain, and then they're like, oh fuck, because in one spell effect you've probably lost a quarter of your strain, and now you got to hope you got some
Right.
to clear it later, so yeah.
Dang.
So yeah, you got to watch that with the advantages. Now, isn't there?
That's where
There's
you take
actually
crit.
the mechanic is actually at the end of the battle. You're supposed to roll to recover some.
Well,
right?
yeah, so kind of like whenever you're in a situation where you have a moment to rest and have some peace or whatever, you can roll your, I think it's discipline. Yeah, you roll discipline, and for each success you get, you can recover 1 strain.
Nice.
Well, hey, I'm gonna
Yeah, we
jump
actually
off
did
real
that.
quick too, guys.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris, for doing this. Session 0, I think, was much needed.
I think so too.
I think it really went well, so I liked it a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, I had a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
It's I'm gonna run right behind him out the door.
Okay.
Yep, me too.
And
Alright.
it's seriously something that I'm so glad we're doing this. It is when Eberron came out, I was like, oh, this would be the new For Real Hotness, and it is. So
Nice.
thank you so much, and you guys have a great night.
Later,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
And,
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah.